Hello, friends, and welcome to my hobby home. My name is Kathy. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're doing a little something different today. I am doing a review of the Airbnb that I stayed in. I am going to give you my direct personal view of this, but it really depends on why you are going to an Airbnb. If I was going for one reason, I would not have been very pleased with this Airbnb. But being that I just needed a place to lay my head because I was going to be somewhere else, I was semi pleased with this Airbnb. Now, this Airbnb was in our kind of south of Little Rock, just a little south of Little Rock, Arkansas. I always look for somewhere secluded, not up in the middle of everything. I kind of want my privacy, especially around Little Rock, because Little Rock is not by my understanding, I don't live there, but I do have family that does live there. It is not a safe area. Some of the areas are not so safe. So we try to find something when we go to Airbnbs, something that's a little out of the way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get over here so I can put my pictures over here for y'all so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, this first picture that I am going to show you is of the beautiful pond that you see. You notice it has the patio with the fire pit and some chairs. There's a story about that. You get the idea that you're walking right out of your Airbnb and you're seeing that beautiful pond. Well, let's back up to the entrance and then we'll talk about each room individually and then the amenities that we have. In this first picture, what you will see is the entrance to what they call the barn door. The door that you see right there goes into what they actually call the pickleball court. I am not going to be showing photos in front of the Airbnb, and you'll understand that why when I explain in a bit, or inside certain areas of the Airbnb. The reason that I'm not going to is because the owners had personal items that had photos or vehicle identifiers on it, so I'm not putting those photos out here. So let's just start at the entrance door. When you turn around, well, let me just tell you what the description told me. When I got my check-in, there's the gate code. Everything in this area has a locked gate on it. That kind of scared me at first. But once you come in the gate, beautiful area, very secluded. You go through woods and then you're in this opening. You have the barn door on the right and on the left. The road ends. It's actually a long gravel driveway to a concrete pad. That concrete pad on the right has the barn door. On the left has the owner's home. Literally, if I just backed up straight back, I would have backed into their vehicles. Their home was right there. I mean, that close. Now, their home was between the barn door and the pond. That picture that I showed you of that beautiful patio with all that, I imagine that was on the back of their home. I didn't go around there to see if it was or not because I felt a little bit creepish about walking around someone's home. I'm not doing that. I don't know them personally, so I'm not going to be walking around their home. Now, my sister did walk down the road because in the morning times she does walk. She walked down the road a little bit, and there was a little slope that sloped down to the pond, but there were signs to be careful. There were no steps, no nothing like that. So I would not have been able to get to the pond anyway. Without walking right next to the people's home. And I'm not going to do that. That's just too creepish for me. Um, so that's the first thing. The pond is not visible from the barn door. But I'll tell you what is visible from the barn door, from some of the windows in it. Actually, every window in it. There's a clearing. Like if you had just kept going straight and ran across the concrete pad, there's a clearing there, and through the trees you can see mountains. It's beautiful. So that's what I'm saying. It's really according to why you're there and how you feel about being that close to whoever owns it. I don't really care about being that close to whoever owns it. It's just one of the amenities that they stated they had was a pond, but you had to walk right next to their home, and I'm not comfortable doing that. So let's go into the barn door. This next picture is a picture of what they call the pickleball court. You see how clean and beautiful the pickleball court is? It looks like a basketball goal, really. You notice there's nothing in here but the court. Well, the picture right next to it is, well, I didn't take a picture. I'm sorry. I just thought about that. I did not take a picture of it because right as you walk in, they have pictures of their family and children, and they have their shoes there all up and down this room. When you walk into the right, looks like a ping pong table, and then right past that, almost the full length of the room is a batting cage, where someone is doing baseball batting practice. So it's not what it looks like in the picture. That really, well, it did kind of upset me because my grandbabies were going to come and we were going to let them have, run of that room because we thought, hey, it's a wide open room. It's cleared out. But once we checked in and we saw that it's not wide open and it's not cleared out, and just in another room over to the side was their boat. So we were like, we're not going to have the babies in here because there's too much for them to get hurt on. There was stuff lining the walls. I mean, it was not clear like the picture shows. That's not how it was. So, that room was nothing like what was pictured. So when you come in that first door into the barn door, and that's the room you see, there's another door on the left. We had no idea how to get in, and everything was unlocked. There was nothing locked. Everything was unlocked. I don't know if it unlocked when you got in the gate. I don't know how it unlocked. But I do know that when we walked into the living area, when you first walk in, you're looking straight into the kitchen. So the next picture you'll see is the laundry room. I didn't take a picture of this room either because I didn't think about doing a comparison side by side. But if you look in the laundry room, you'll see the shelves are all neat and tidy. You've got your washer and dryer there at the far end of the room. When we came in, there was a dirty sock on the floor at the washing machine. There was laundry still in the dryer. It was sheets or something in there. And then there were sheets and towels on a board right next to the dryer, like a folding table. But it was all just thrown up there. There was no neatness to it. Not like in the picture. But, that really didn't bother us because we weren't going to be in there, all day. There was garbage in the garbage can already. So the garbage had not been emptied before we got there. So let's go into the living area. The cabinets in that kitchen were to die for. I loved the cabinets. Now, I'm going to say the construction of this barn door was beautiful. Absolutely stunningly beautiful. I will give you my thoughts about this at the very end. So just I'm just going to say the building itself was beautiful. I loved the finishes, loved the rooms. But in this kitchen, you'll see beautiful sink. There was garbage on the floor. There was a busted balloon on the floor that we did not see, and my grandson found it. So my daughter gets it away from him. So that tells me the floors were not cleaned. Also, so my daughter grabbed the balloon and goes to put it in the garbage. They have one of those slide out garbage like right under the sink. She opened it and it was slam full of garbage. Drink cans, paper plates. It was just full. It was full of garbage. You know, we're sitting here thinking, okay, not a big deal. The garbage isn't empty. Who wants to waste a garbage bag when it's not completely full? So, you know, we just bypass that and we're like, okay, not a big deal. So then we start looking at everything really closely. The freezer had food in it. My daughter said it had like fish sticks and stuff. I didn't look in it because I didn't put anything in the freezer or the fridge because we weren't eating there. Now, of course, she had my grandson, you know, she had the baby there and he needed his milk in the fridge. And, you know, so she had his stuff in there, like snacks and things like that. But the fridge overall, I did look in just to make sure it was clean. It was clean. They had the normal condiments that most people have, you know, ketchup and mustard and mayonnaise and salad dressing, you know, just the basic things. Which was fine. The dishwasher was still loaded with dishes. I think they were clean. I didn't look at them. I didn't care if they were or not because I brought paper plates and cups and spoons and forks if we needed them. But we ended up not cooking or eating there at all, except my daughter did feed my grandson. My sister and I had gone out and ate after the birthday party, and we brought her some food too. And she gave some of it to my grandson. She heated it up and set him at the table, and he ate, which was fine. So that was all good. The furniture in the living room, the table was lovely, was great. The couch, now, I'm just going to tell y'all, no furniture is very comfortable for me because of my knee, my hips, and my back. Ever since I had the knee surgery, my hips and back hurt worse now. I guess because of how I'm having to walk because of my knee, but nothing is ever comfortable. So when I say furniture was not comfortable, it's just not comfortable for me. My sister said it was fine. She liked it. I didn't care for it because of how it was set up. It was very hard for me to get off the couch. They did have some pictures on the wall, which was quite lovely. Get to the first bedroom. Now, I did take a picture of this, so we will be doing a side-by-side. The one right here. This is the picture that's on the internet with Airbnb. This is what they say the room looks like. This is what it actually looked like. In this picture here, you will see they only had the two beds. They had like the captain's bed and then the full bed with the dresser next to the wall. Well, in this picture, I don't know if I captured it, but the dresser has been put into the closet and a mattress has been put on the floor under the captain's bed. It was really not thought out very well on how to sit that room up. And I'm just going to tell y'all, none of the beds looked like they were made up. But my sister said they smelled clean. They looked fine. It's just they were very wrinkled. I do come from a hospitality background also. While I was in college, I was the assistant manager of a motel, like a major chain motel. Um, I did do room checks and checked how sheets and beds were made and folded. There were to be no wrinkles, no hairs, and no nothing like that. We would even black light check the beds. Um, and mattresses, we would get rid of a mattress if it failed the black light test. So if it could not be cleaned, it would fail and that room would be shut down until the mattress was replaced. So I may be tougher on it because I come from that background, but from these two pictures here, you can tell there's an obvious difference in the room. Now, this next picture I'm going to show you is the picture of the bathroom. The bathroom was lovely. When we came in, you think if you were having someone come in your Airbnb, and I will tell y'all up front how much I did pay for this. Well, I'll tell y'all at the end. I paid way too much, though, for what we got. I'm just going to say that. The rug on the floor was just thrown there. It wasn't neat and straight. There was not a hand towel folded pretty on the hand towel ring. The towels were just thrown on the hangers. I'm going to show you a close-up. I caught this in the mirror and I blew it up so y'all could see this. This is how the towels were thrown up there. They were not new towels. They were getting kind of raggedy. My sister, she's like, those are the perfect towels. That's the one she'd want. But my thoughts are, maybe it's a little OCD also in this. I wanted to take every one of those towels down and match them by colors and fold them up neat and put them in the rolls, like one color on one rack, the other color on another rack. I wanted to do that. And if it was a mismatch, just put it in the shelf, the cabinet. But I didn't do that because I should have, because it would have given them a little hint. Hey, you need to vamp up your game here. And then this room here that I'm going to show you right here is going to be what the website shows. Over here is the picture I took of this room. Now, the website you'll see had like a big dresser thing there. That is not what the room looked like at all. You'll notice over here, the picture I took, there's a desk under the window. I think I might have caught that in there. The dresser is now on the far wall next to the head of the bed, and the nightstand is still there, but it's a big open wall right there as you walk in the door, which is perfect. There is a huge walk-in closet. Guys, in this walk-in closet, they had bedspreads just rolled up, put on the shelves. I don't know if I got a picture of that. If I did, I'll put it right here. And they had their camo clothes in there as well. So they had clothing in there. They had personal items in there. On the window side of the bed, underneath it, there was a box. Yes, I pulled it out because I'm thinking I don't know what's in here. They had a box of Christmas wrap under the bed. The dresser was empty. I always check dressers and stuff when I'm checking out to make sure nobody put anything in it. But the nightstand and the dressers were empty. The desk was slam full of paperwork in there. They had pictures of their children. They had paperwork. They had all kinds of stuff in that desk. And in the closet, also the same thing. They had a lot of personal information in this house. I'm guessing they think when people come in there, they're not going to look through all the stuff. Yes, we are. We're going to look through everything. But so let me kind of give you a wrap up of what I think about this Airbnb. Being that we were just going for an overnight and not a weekend like my sister and I normally do. We will be doing a weekend in February, and it is an Airbnb that we have gone to, or at least the host. We have gone to two of his different homes that he has. We went to one of them twice and the other one once. We love going to his homes. We love having him as a host. He is super. He actually comes through because he has another home on that street that he is working on. And my sister always seems to catch him early in the morning. I'm not an early morning person when I go to an Airbnb. I want to sit on the couch or sit on the back porch, enjoy the air. My sister wants to get out and walk. If she gets out and she talks to him, I can't do the walking because of my hips and my back. I just can't do it. My mobility is so limited, and that is so hard for me to accept right now. And I'm hoping it gets better, but I really don't think it is, because it is a structural issue with my back and my hips, and I don't think that's going to ever be able to be changed. Even with surgery, I think it would still be bad. I'd have trouble to walk long distances. But she gets out and she loves to walk and just sightsee and that. And me, I just want to sit in place and enjoy the peace and quiet. But for this just being a one night Airbnb, it was perfectly fine. I paid $220 for that one night, and that was for all three adults and baby. Apparently, this thing would sleep 8 people, and we only had 4, so we were still good. The appliances were perfect. They had a microwave, a stove, a dishwasher, a fridge, a washer, a dryer. The shower was great. Everything was really good. It was really good. It really was. Were there some things that I felt like were misleading? Absolutely. I thought I was going to be able to walk out of the Airbnb, sit next to the pond in the morning with my cup of hot tea or something. But no, I didn't get to do that. I couldn't even see the pond. Now, on the flip side of that, this is what I did see. So I don't know if y'all can make out everything in there, but there were 3 little deer in the backyard of the barn dough, and you can see right through that opening. I hope you can see it, the mountains. It was so beautiful. So I guess, give one, take one. It was a beautiful area. I would love to have been able to sit by the pond in the morning, and I'm not walking through someone's yard to do that. My thoughts on it. I feel like this, and my sister and I even talked about this. We think that in off season, they rent it as an Airbnb. And in season, it's like a hunting camp for their family. Now, the house that was just on the other side of the concrete slab, they are building that home. It is not 100% constructed. So my thoughts are maybe they're living in the barn dough while they're building the other house for the conveniences. And maybe that's what's going on. They're just making a little extra money. Maybe they got their bed finally in their home. But, just for the one night, it was perfect. I would like to have seen the extras in there to be a little more Airbnb quality. The towels, all the same kind of towels. Not tattered, not worn. Actually, the sheet on my bed had a hole in it at the corner. It looked like someone had gotten a hold of it with maybe a knife or a pair of scissors by accident, because it was a perfect straight cut. So, you know, I mean, the bed was absolutely comfortable. The sheets were very wrinkled. At first, I thought maybe they had not been changed. So I'm like one of those. I'm going to smell the sheets. I'm going to check it all. I'm going to smell the pillowcases. They felt and smelled like they were clean. Just someone doesn't know how to make a bed very tight. So I like a tight bed. I don't like wrinkled sheets. But that was our experience with the Airbnb. The host was very easy to work with. When I messaged him and asked, because it was only going to be 2 adults, and then I asked if I could add the 3rd adult and the baby, not a problem. I'm not going to give them a bad review because for our need, it was perfect. If you want more higher standards, this may not be the Airbnb for you. But for us, just for one night, I didn't need the shower because I showered before I went over there on Saturday morning. So Sunday afternoon when I got home, I showered again. I didn't have to use someone else's shower. I have a thing about that. That might as well be a public pool. You need shoes to do that. And they had a tub shower. I have difficulties doing tub showers because it's hard for me to step up in them. And I'm always afraid of slipping and falling in them. And I did not have a bar to be able to hold on to make sure I didn't slip or fall. And they did not have like the non-slip bottom on the tub. So I didn't use the tub at all because I was afraid that I would slip and fall. But overall, the barn dough was beautiful. There were areas in the photos that's on the website that we could not use. Number one, the big room that was supposed to be a pickleball area. It was not as open as the photo, which would have been great for my grandbabies to bring their bikes and trikes and ride in there and run and play. They would have had a blast, but we weren't there long enough for them to do that. So by the time we got back from eating, my sister and I was about 8:30. My daughter came. My daughter-in-law brought my daughter and my grandson at about 9 o'clock, and she left right out. She couldn't stay because my granddaughter done fell asleep. So it was perfect for us. So my rating on what our need was for this trip, out of a 5, I'm going to give them a 4. The garbage cans having garbage in it does not bother me because I don't empty my garbage cans every day either. I empty mine when they get full. The garbage cans were not full, so I'm not going to come on down on them because they weren't full. Everything was clean. It just might not have been as pristine and as uniform as I thought it would have been. That's why for a hunting camp, perfect. But for me, for something like a weekend, if I'm going to stay for a weekend, I would not stay there. Because I like to have use of the whole property. That's why when I go in Airbnb, I want the whole house. And if you show me things on that property, but I have something that interferes with what's in one of the pictures, that's not good for me. I wanted use of everything that I saw in those pictures. And even though the owners might have said, oh, all you had to do was what? No. I do not interfere on other people's property. I can't. I don't do that. But the barn day was beautiful. It was very comfortable. The beds were absolutely amazing. Slept wonderful. The beauty of those cabinets, y'all, in that kitchen, I'm stunned. I love the laundry room / pantry that they had. It was gorgeous. And, everything was really good about it. Just a few cleaning cosmetic things that needed to have been done for it to be an Airbnb quality. Everything was spick and span clean. I mean, there was nothing that was dirty per se, but it just seems like there's certain things that people didn't think about when they were cleaning up. So guys, this is my review on the Barn Dough Airbnb in Little Rock, Arkansas. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. So give me a thumbs up. If you like travel, I do occasionally do Airbnb reviews, probably 2 to 3 a year. Now that my son is in Little Rock, I may have a few more going on in Little Rock because I'm not going to stay with them. I'm not going to stay with them and invade their privacy, but I will go and stay overnight or for a weekend, and I'll do a review on the Airbnbs. So, guys, once again, give me a thumbs up if you have not yet subscribed. I normally do sewing, quilting, cooking, and travel on this channel, but more sewing than anything. So subscribe if you have not yet. I have so much stuff that normally comes out other than travel. If you'd like to leave a comment and tell me what you think, I do try to respond to each and every comment personally. And as always, until I see you again, I hope you have a very blessed day. Bye, guys.